know this as well, so we'll have to see how they work around this. As we said before, when your team is predictable, then your opponent's bans become predictable, and it allows you as a team to work on what you want to choose, knowing what your opponents are going to ban.
Well, it looks like it has been the top lane and a little bit of mid lane coming from CLG for Coast. And we have jungle and mid lane coming over from Coast themselves to CLG. Kha'Zix being picked up quite fast. He's seen a lot more playtime after we saw that IEM. Looks like everybody's figuring out that, the bug can still splat.
Oh yeah, so Kha'Zix highly prioritized by almost all teams now. CLG not hesitating to jump on that one. Dexter very happy with that pick. But as we said, it leaves 2 open then. If you use your, Coast are the ones who lock in that. Dexter's happy about Elise because he said he was thinking he was never going to get Elise again after his performances. You know, he's 3-0 on Elise, I believe. And CLG very happy with that one. Double Lift also undefeated on Sivir. So it's a good start to the pick bans here for CLG. They got 2 of the champions that they have 100% success rate on.
There's Nintendo X Shifter on the screen right now. Those 2 waiting to pick. A lot of great Vi play has come from Nintendo X, but they're going to let this one go for the AD carry and the support right now. Wiz Fusion picking up that Lucian. Has had a hard time in that bot lane with Daydream in this season, but they have been able to hold their ground in many a case, and that's what allows Zion and Shifter to get ahead of the game. Really, though, towards the end of the season, they're going to need to be picking up that lane for themselves.
Yeah, and locking in that combo early before seeing CLG's last pick. I think they're expecting like a Leona to go with that Sivir, just like in the last game. So he's probably thinking he wants to harass Annie, start the Q, and chunk them down. Annie's actually pretty good against Sivir because it's hard to spell shield tippers. Since it's so quick. You just kind of have to read the Annie's movements. And Double Lift being that experience, every time Annie comes in, he'll probably have a very twitchy finger and activate the spell shield. With it having a shorter duration now, Daydreaming can actually just feint, walk towards him, try and get him to blow it, and then return once the cooldown is no longer available for Double Lift. See if he can catch him off guard.
Daydreaming paying tribute.
The homage to Cutie Pie.
We do see the Thresh coming out, though. Alphamu with some pretty sick Thresh grabs in the last plays. You can see Dex just laughing his face off. They're having fun right now. Looks like we may get Zion Spartan. Renekton coming in. A lot of back and forth here from Coast. But the Shyvana pickup and the Thresh are going to be huge. Nian can obviously do whatever he wants on Shyvana in the top lane. We usually don't see him towards the later end of the game. And as I said, that Thresh for Alphamu is just going to be horrendous for Coast in the bottom lane.
Interesting hover over the Ryze here. Now, Nian has played a tremendous amount of Ryze lately in solo queue, so he's very well aware of the champion's strengths and weaknesses, but Zion goes with the classic matchup here. The Renekton into Shyvana, so we'll look for that early game. And really, this time around, it's going to be a lot about Nintendo X. We always say how Coast is so solo lane focused, but if they make the switch and give this Kha'Zix to Nintendo, then there's a lot of weight on his shoulders. He has to be the one to get really strong, and he has to make those plays later in the team fights with Kha'Zix, because there's so much potential with Kha'Zix. He pretty much dictates the team fights on how much not only damage can he deal to priority targets, but also what can he soak up and how well does he use the evolved ultimate.
All right, well, with the teams being locked, we do see that Sivir is going to be that Double Lift pick. He's going to be able to get himself very much ahead in the team fights, but Link picking up the Ahri is going to be a very good play for him. We saw a lot coming out from Shifter on Ahri, so he himself knows what that matchup is going to be like.
There we go. Switching back over to new mic number 2 here. All right.
So with this game coming in, it's going to be big. Kobe's getting himself all set. He looks good, though, right? Kobe looked good? Kobe looks good. As the teams load onto the Rift, let's see who you are predicting to take the W. The big W goes 85% in the favor of Counter Logic Gaming. Link was saying earlier there's only 2 teams that can out-rotate, out-strategize Counter Logic Gaming. That is the top 2, TSM and Cloud9. So we'll see if Coast kind of makes him eat his own words here.
Yeah, those are the 2 teams that did beat them in Super Week, so definitely true to their statements. So we have to see, though. Coast definitely want to make a comeback here, and as I said, this is sort of a new thing. They're putting a lot of weight on Nintendo's shoulders. He's been getting a lot of flack from the community. This is a chance for him to silence a lot of the haters, because I think that Kha'Zix is a great champion for him. He is a strong jungler. He's up there. He made it to Challenger several times. We'll see what he can do with this bug.
How does it work for Kha'Zix, though, when if you're not really getting ahead of the game? If you're far behind, jumping in is usually a death sentence for yourself, though.
So the gameplay with Kha'Zix has evolved very nicely, actually, because he doesn't have to build all damage anymore. Yes, he does like to be an assassin, but he doesn't have to funnel all of his resources into damage. He can start out with the Lizard Elder. That's pretty much standard for everybody. And then he has the choice of going with his second offensive item or already changing his item build-up and going defensive. He wants to be able to soak up more damage and more spells later in the team fights. So he'll eventually be getting things like Randuin's or Banshee's Veil. But it's really up to Nintendo to see how the early game plays out, how his item path is going to unfold here. He definitely does have a lot of options open, though.
I like this from Nian. Cloth 5 in the top, keeping himself tanky.
Yeah, Cloth 5 is now the new Doran Shield start for top laners. With the nerf to Doran Shield, a lot of people really don't like it. It's still a big thing in the bottom lane because the passive works against 2 people. You're getting harassed by 2 ranged attacks. So you want that auto attack damage reduction in the bottom lane especially, but up top, a lot of people have been favoring the extra health potions there with the cloth armor. So it's pretty much become the new standard in this matchup. Shyvana going for the extra sustain there. I do want to say, though, that along with everything or a lot being on Nintendo this time around, they've picked very strong, solid early game solo lanes. Ziggs can shove very early. He's got great mid lane presence early. And Renekton up top, there is no greater top lane presence. So Nintendo has so much power on the top side of this map. If he's able to work with his solo laners well, they need to have good communication, though, because as we always say, counter jungling, team activity, everybody needs to be in on all the news.
We also got Wiz Fusion on the lane bully that is Lucian, so we'll see if he can, like we said, get that lane going for themselves and not really have to ride the backpack of Shifter or Zion Spartan. Junglers doing what they can to make their way around, so their presence is felt in this one after the buffs are picked up. I don't think it's going to be too much towards that top lane. However, like you said, Kobe, the potential is definitely there. Aphromoo taking a good bit of damage here in the early part of the game, losing control of that bush. It's going to hurt him for some damage.
And they've got that stun ready on Daydreamin', so Aphromoo has to be very careful right now. As we said, double lift. He'll have a spell shield later, but starting level 1, not going to want to start with that. And he's got to play far back as well. So the Silver lane doesn't get to shove as they would prefer. Good job there by Coach. Starting out pretty well. Now the mid lane. We didn't really talk about the matchup where Shifter is actually playing against Ahri. This is kind of a big deal as well. Not a lot of other people have been using Ahri, but Link taking that assassin into the face of Ziggs. I like going assassins into Ziggs early, especially something that's not an all-in assassin like Ahri. She has options of getting out after she goes for any sort of commitment.
Ooh, that was really nice, actually.
Pretty close there. But Ahri plus Elise is a great early game combo. If they can catch Shifter sleeping, skill shots, it's all going to be on the skill shots. If they can land one, either Charm or Cocoon, then they are able to chain that, and it will be very hard for Shifter, even with him running. Oh, wow, he's running Ignite. No barrier even. So if that either one of those CCs does land, it's going to be really hard for him.
A lot of kill potential coming from these mid laners. Just on the back side is Dexter for Link there, and he's going to be on the bottom side of the jungle hovering right now. Not any different here in the top lane.
He took the hit. Tower hit. He was trying to sneak in there, not get that tower hit.
Just waiting it out.
Now, CLG have a reputation for focusing a lot of their early ganks down to the bottom lane. And they haven't pulled one out yet, but there are no wards currently for Wiz Fusion and Daydream. And when you're bullying a lane and you're playing aggressive, as Daydream and Wiz Fusion are, you need to ward up because you're overextended. And yes, you're getting small advantages out of bullying this lane, but you do open yourself up to these ganks. Dexter trying to get into position here. We'll see if this aggression backfires. Meanwhile, Nintendo setting up camp at mid.
Oh, Almost gets seen there, just over the shoulder. Double lift gets himself a little close, goes down to the ignite of Daydream, and on the engage. They try to walk this one in so Dexter can get in for the kill. He gets the last auto attack. Wiz tries to get himself in for the passive shots, but the hook comes in from Afromu. Very low though, they gotta be careful. Wiz low on mana, so lucky for them.
All right, we didn't exactly see the beginning, but I'm pretty sure Double Lift was trying to bait, and he baited a little too hard there.
Both him and Afro. Afro tried to walk into the brush and soak up Daydream and stun, but it all went a little too awry. Afromu is going to stay here and try not to lose any of this XP as it goes down. We'll see Double Lift returning to lane. He just got himself a Vampiric Scepter on the first buy, so a little bit of gold here. We'll rewatch this.
Oh, he was not even baiting. He was playing pretty far back, yeah. As we said, it's hard for Sivir to spell shield the Suns from Annie, especially if she flashes from a bush.
Boom. That happened. Nintendo X going towards the top lane. We talked about the kill potential here, and they use it. Did that go over? No, it did not look like Shifter made it in time. He has no assist there.
Shifter did have to walk all the way up here, though, so he's losing creeps at mid for this roam right now, and Link is getting a little bit ahead. He gets the purchase first, and the extra boots are actually a pretty offensive buy here for Link. Move speed going to enable him to get in position for one of those charms. If he's able to call Dexter at the same time, as we said, very easy to chain those CCs.
It's always interesting to watch an Ahri player really get their crowd control on, because once they step away from the minions, you almost expect that charm to come out. See how Link can perform it against Shifter. Those guys are very mechanically sound in the mid lane.
You know what? It also enables him to roam more effectively here. Oh, Dexter comes in with the Lantern Cocoon.
Some big damage waiting on to get some more attack in. All three of them getting a piece of that one. Wiz Fusion now left by himself again.
Yeah, we talked about the focus bottom lane for CLG. Dexter does not want to give up on that bottom lane. Even though Double Lift died, he returns, able to take advantage of the summonerless Coast duo. No, I think that was just wards.
A little hide and seek. That's an ultimate for Link. He's got 6, but it does not look like he's going to go in. The charm miss, no extra damage
with fire.
Yeah. They want that pink. And so we just put it down. Not going to get
Level
it for very
6
long.
for Link. It just got a whole lot more dangerous to wait around close to him.
Shifter's got it as well. This could be a pretty good place to use that Mega Inferno Bomb if they go for Dragon this low.
Yeah, that forces them to back off.
Great shots. Shifter getting a little bit of control in the mid lane here. He's going to force Link back, so this Dragon may be more in favor of Coast every second that they wait. Right now, the bottom lane is pushed in pretty hard by CLG, and Nintendo's just going to go back, try to get this blue buff.
It's a good move from him, but CLG have seen it. They're calling this one. They know what he's up to here. Can he jump over the wall and get away? His mid lane is safe. You always want to go to the side where your laners are bullying, and Shifter did a good job there, as we saw all those.
Great control.
Those well-placed bombs getting Link low. So Nintendo does come out ahead with the steal, but Dexter is not one to take that lightly. Looks like they want to answer here. Since there's no vision for Coast, it's so dangerous for anyone to go over there. We keep on talking up these one CC landing into the other. You don't want to do that blind. Looks like the respawn time there for blue working in Coast's favor. Since CLG checked it and we're not able to find it there, they actually back off, and it's going to be Nintendo going in. Will Dexter actually return? I think it'll be too late for him, so it's pretty much a clean steal of that blue buff for Coast. And they're even able to give it away to Shifter here, further pushing this lane in Zig's favor.
Shifter's doing what he can. He's down a bit in CS, but that's only because of the roam top. He also didn't get anything from that roam, so he's got to make something happen for himself here. A good dragon fight would be in Coast's favor. Daydreaming gets a few more wards on their top side to be safe in that bottom lane, where Dexter has kept himself present. Looks like he's still hovering the bottom side of the map, knowing that's where he needs to be.
Oh, man.
Just fine.
Dexter really wants to get that blue buff back. Shifter's wearing it, and Link... Level 6.
Oh, he hit it! The charm goes out! They are easily going to get that one, and they do get the blue buff back to Link.
So I might have mentioned it too many times, but that's why. Because when one of those things hits, he's dead. So good job there by CLG. They're able to get a blue buff back, and it's on Link, as it should be. So now he's got pretty much free reign here. Hard for Nintendo to even get CS under the turret, because there's so much poke from the range mid lane and the range jungler up there. It's just CLG has complete control of the map here after that successful gank from Dexter.
I was about to comment that CLG was saying they don't get out-rotated. They control a lot of their side of the map. Nintendo took the blue, but it was all the plan. Dexter knew there was only a few more minutes before they would get it back and then take the dragon, putting themselves up 800 gold, and now ready to go at the bottom lane. Dexter approaches once again, and they may even get a dive here.
Yeah, and he waits a little bit after the ward dies, so there's no possibility of them seeing him come for this dive. Nintendo goes back mid, though. Fight over the blue buff
Goes
here.
in, gets a little bit of that unseen threat, gets the other attack on, and they return the favor in mid lane to Link.
Yeah, and with Dexter bottom, they actually didn't even get anything out of it. Daydreamin too threatening with his stun back up and the Tibbers ready to roll. So Nintendo answers again. Ooh, advantage back to Coast.
Yep. Looks like they know calculated transfer of the buffs going round and round. That one's been alive for quite some time now. Looks like we have only a 300 gold lead for CLG as that was pushed back in Coast's favor in the mid lane, but nobody's really able to move off of these. They're not doing any damage to the mid turret. They're just letting a huge wave crash into it and trying to gain more presence in champion kills.
They were thinking about double roaming up top, but Shifter actually pulled back around, and he did not go into that bush either. So they didn't see the pink ward either, but Nintendo solo gank up top.
It's a pretty healthy dragon. Oh, they both can go over the turret. How unfortunate for the end. They get into the right spot at the right time and get out of that turret aggro. Bottom lane being pushed in on the hunt. It does not look like that Talisman of Ascension is anywhere near finish. A flash, the flashy, a very flashy play indeed. Wiz Fusion, the up and the down goes on to him and Daydreamin. He's going to have to leave Wiz this time.
Another play from Afro. He doesn't give up on the chase. Dexter burns both flashes with his flash, which allows Afro to then capitalize. Nicely landed hook onto Wiz Fusion. Able to get a kill back for themselves. Very close game here.
Yeah.
I like this. Coast is definitely putting up a fight. This is another, by the way, one of those 3-0 matches where CLG have won the previous 3 times. There's that pink ward we talked about. But Coast definitely making a case for themselves this time around.
See where they decide to go from here. Hopefully they do not get too ahead of themselves. Still quite a bit of time for Dragon to come up, and that's really an easy time to force yourself into a bad position. Get all antsy. 17.2 to 17.7. That first turret being down is both on the top and the bottom side of the map mirrored, so it doesn't look like anybody's gaining too much of an advantage off of that. Zion Spartan more than happy to keep pushing that lane in.
He's done a good job. We say that he doesn't really like to play the in-meta champions, but he's definitely well equipped to play them if he needs to. Does a good job on that Renekton. He's got the kills and the turret down for his lane. Not without help, but that is definitely the team effort paying off down there. We'll have to see if this extra turret down bottom does allow CLG extra dragon control, though, because it's going to force, Wiz Fusion and the like to overextend. You can see they've tried to shore up their side of the jungle with pink wards. It's a pretty good defense there. But if they do want to defend those, it kind of forces Nintendo to stay towards the bottom side of the map. And if they do want to defend pink wards, it's going to kind of give away their hand.
Uh-oh.
There's a pink ward fight. Oh, he does not go for the last hit.
If it's not Dragon, it's going to be wards that make the fights. These guys are getting antsy. Just over a bit of gold. The return on investment's coming quick, though, if they're going to keep doing this. Looks like red buff's going to be for Nintendo as they both give up on that instance for now. They'll definitely be back. 111 in the top lane to 97. As you can see in the end, can't really give Zion Spartan too much harass as he's just standing right in front of him once again. Face to face, the game of cat and mouse. They do not even see the Timbers coming. Absolutely have found the bear. Nintendo Dex ulting into the fight once, now twice, and he's still trying to get that third one in. Looks like it does keep him safe, and he flashes over the big part of the wall. Goes for a 1 kill there onto Aframu, and they all get out.
Another point to Coast here. They are the ones that have a split second quicker on the initiation in that 3v3. Both teams calling junglers bottom. Daydreamin, though, he lands the great Tibbers to set it up on double players, and Nintendo is handling his Kazakhs well. I said there's going to be a lot of pressure on him this game to perform. He's definitely stepped it up. He's doing a good job, and they're able to retain control of the vision of those pink wards. You said they're going to fight over all these defensive pink wards, and they really need to, because the CLG team is all about picks. They've got the Aura, the Elise, the Thresh all of these skill shot picks that are going to be enhanced by Sivir's late game move speed. So CLG want to play the rotational game and look for picks late game, whereas Coast, I mean, they've got the Ziggs to fall back on, so they've got great wave clear.
Hopefully they can start pushing that wave clear and make it start to be a siege. CLG is a little ahead of the game right now with the strategy and movement, but Coast has been picking up the 1-2 kills when CLG tries to move on into those spots.
So that right there, that play, even though it looked like nothing happened, CLG gained the information that, yes, there's a pink ward in this bush now, so they can work around that information. All these little bits of information that they have to keep track of. There's so many individual little pieces that they're working towards. Oh, good juke of the charm right there.
That would have been pretty painful. Nintendo Dex doesn't have too much magic resistance right now as he's putting a Hex Drinker in his belt. Dexter clearing out wards on his side. The defensive pink wards for CLG are in the right spots, especially if they're to disengage here.
So Coast make the call to group up for Dragon. They don't have the exact timer, though. So they know it's pretty soon, but they're a little bit early. And they bring down Zion. They lose a decent amount of creeps up top. So it's a little bit of a win for CLG. Coast are definitely grouped up and ready for the team fight, though. And they do have a more standard setup here. So we'll have to see if WizFusion can actually make it over to the team fight. Because he showed down bottom, and CLG immediately starting Dragon. Spiderling's tanking it out for the beginning. Coast would definitely want to contest this one if CLG commit to the Dragon.
Link
trying to come in for the back. He wants to flank. He should get a pretty good flank on Shifter.
Nintendo Dex puts himself in the fight. Here comes Link from the backside. He has to walk through a minefield. Huge damage. That's going over to Dexter on the smite for Dragon, and the bodies start falling around the Dragon pit. Shifter's going to be going down as well. A double kill coming in from the end. Very big on the fight. This is going to be an ace for CLG.
Able to make use of a great initiation there from the end, boosted by Sivir's on the hunt. All right, let's take a look at this. The box catches everybody inside, but Double Lift can spell shield one of them, and he gets to fire away from the back line while Nien jumps in. And even though Link had to walk over the mines, he got in to disrupt the damage, the back line from Coast. It took his life, but man, does it mean a Baron for CLG this early on? Looks like they're gonna get it, unless Daydreamin' pulls out the hero play.
Oh God. Oh God, it looks so juicy. He wants the kills. Daydreamin's in the pit. It still goes to Dexter. He's not gonna get one. No, he gets nothing. Dexter stays alive. Wait a minute. Wait. No, they can't bait him into the kill.
Wiz finishes the job.
Nobody could help Dexter there. That would have been bad.
Yeah.
At least they get
Dexter
Baron.
needed a little help dying, so WizFusion came in to oblige him. Baron, though, huge pickup there for CLG. They've lost map control for a very small amount of time while everyone's recalling. So the answer turret here for Team Coast should be a little bit consolation prize for them, but it's not going to be enough here. CLG with a pretty good lead now.
Baron's one thing that can easily prevent the yo-yo effect. They were very close before this, but with a surge like that, it's going to take a few wins at the inhibitor, a few fights out in the open to get your team back into the game. We're looking at a needlessly large rod under Shifter right now. He's trying to get that Rabadon's built up as well. Already has the Athenes. The Deathfire from Link is, I don't know, that may even be a Zanya so he doesn't die, but the Rabadon's is going to be the damage needed.
Yeah, I think that they do need him to build damage. So they're really relying on picks with this team, and they want the extra oomph behind any of those skill shot CCs that do land. But as of right now, they've got the extra oomph with the Baron, so pretty much taking control of this bottom side jungle.
So as you can see, Coast took CLG's mid turret just a few seconds ago with Dexter being down. Now that CLG's up, that was just their regular strat. Let's push mid. We have the strength to take it down with the full Coast team up.
Yeah,
and now they're going to do it again.
The Coast didn't really want to fight, so they sent Zion top for an extra wave. But now they're getting dove.
He is just getting chewed up right now by Nien. Big damage onto Nintendo. He's really only there for the assassination.
And the ulti down now for Kha'Zix. We never really used to call that out because it wasn't as big of a deal. But now that it's such an important part of his kit, that ult being down for Kha'Zix is fairly detrimental for the next tower push here. Coast's going to have to be a little bit more careful.
What a great combination that Dexter and Link are creating here with the Elise and Ahri, the long-range cocoon into a long-range charm. Nobody's getting out of that with consecutive stacked crowd control.
Yeah, it's the Cocoon, the Charm, and the Death Sentence.
And and
Coast
Death
just have to
Sentence.
constantly
After
be
moves there.
dodging back and forth.
This is going to be the turret, the flash in. It's all on to Link. Even the Mega Inferno Bomb takes him down. Not enough cattail to get out of that one, and it looks like it's going to be a hit up as well. Shyvana onto Nintendo. He cannot help to take down Doublelift or even Aframu in this fight. The high damage is all dead.
Yeah, Link once again focused by Coast. They take him out, but they lose the turret and 2, so another pretty big win for CLG. That also means that now they can set up vision in both sides of the jungle coming from mid. Good combo there onto Link though, but with them all extending for it and focusing him, the rest of CLG have a pretty easy time collapsing on their targets and able to answer for 2 plus an objective. Top lane now with all this standing gold up there for CLG should probably be their next focus. It's a lot of extra global gold up there for them, just pretty much waiting to be taken.
CLG making sure pink wards, any other site wards are down in the jungle of Coast, so they can't get any of their own camps or any of their own experience that they have to soak up. You see Link taking his blue buff, Shifter, and Zion Spartan able to make it out with just enough time here to the blue before they're going to have to get back to base and defend. Zion Spartan's lane has held true this game, but that's only because CLG hasn't been there.
Yeah, he had a pretty good early game here,
Yeah.
but after that dragon fight, it's been all CLG. Pretty much what we saw last game, actually.
Give them an inch and they take a
that
mile.
First dragon fight really determining a lot. Now, Doublelift has bought a BF sword and a pickaxe on top of his opening Bloodthirster, since he really wants that flat damage for the boomerang pokes that turret. You know, he's not going to be able to take down Zion that quickly if Zion comes to the back of him. But that really hasn't been a problem for CLG right now. So Doublelift is going all flat damage. He annihilates towers. He's going to obliterate creep waves.
This is something that CLG did yesterday when they played EG as well. They had quite a lead coming in, but then they wanted everything. They just wanted everything before the game was over. Now going to the top lane to push that all the way in, and they'll be at the front of the base of Coast.
All right, so they are at the front of the base. They got the first outer turret there, but they're doing a little split push. Since Link is so strong right now, and he did make it into a death cap, he's got the potential to 100% burst. Everybody say, except for Zion. So it's very hard for them to choose someone to go over there. They have to use Shifter because Shifter has his flash, and he can play long range. But even with that, Link will probably go aggressive and look to burn Shifter's flash at least in that 1v1. The rest of the team here trying to make use of the skill shots from the side.
Yeah, you can see Dexter and Aframu both hugging hip to hip there, trying to get a cocoon into a hook so they can get a boomerang from Doublelift. Just one after the other. They're always poised and ready to activate these engagements. And right now on this second tier turret in the top, it's not the safest to be guarding, so Coast still has to be careful.
Man, I don't like switching Zion over here because Zion is the answer for Doublelift. If Coast have a bright spot, it is Zion. He's very, very...
That was one after the other, Kobe. That's the third time they've attempted that, and Nintendo was hit by that one. They know it was coming. Right now, CLG is really just in the minds of Coast.
So Zion rotates mid, and that gives CLG the upper hand that they need at that top lane. They take advantage, take another outer turret. Now it's really Coast at the last stand here. Inhibitor turrets. Once one of these goes down, the door opens for the base.
Dexter just figuring out how much damage he can do. I think it was a little less than he thought. Zion Spartan still pretty healthy in that engage. It's like they're all just kind of waiting for somebody to make the mistake now. With that big of a gold lead, you're going to have to be very careful.
Danger.
Doublelift coming out, not taking too much damage on that. They do get Zion Spartan one more time. And everybody on top of Dexter is definitely going to be enough damage to get the kill. In the end, towards the back line. And I think he went a little too far on this one. Oh, he makes it in before, and he eats the fire for breakfast. Aframu with the hook. Is he going to go over? Tries to get the wall play, but it doesn't work. The Orb of Deception just missing from Link. Dexter gets the kill over onto Wiz.
Another great kill from Dexter.
I
think giving Dexter a lease is not a great idea. He definitely has a huge impact with that champion.
The first engage we saw him in mid was a max range cocoon to Link's charm after that.
He's hit multiple max range cocoons. He's also...
You don't say.
he's a really big part of camping that bottom lane.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one of the skill shots landing. That's all it takes. And we said since Link is going full power here, he went for the death cap second. They have no problem blowing up the Renekton that they caught. Now Nien walks right on the edge of that bomb.
Ow.
Uh-oh, Nintendo gets hooked in.
Whoa! Explosion coming in. Nintendo gets blown up like a nuke. Zion Spartan's going to be trying to take the damage in with Dominus on. He is dishing out good damage on that Sunfire Cape. Coming back with the Orb of Deception, but not a lot, and they may have just baited themselves into a sour situation. The slice of dice! They calling card that one home for a double kill onto Zion Spartan, and it's going to be Doublelift and Dexter running out of this.
So they grab a couple kills for themselves, but still their base is under attack here. Nien going deep.
Jeez. Dragon Scale's a little too strong.
Yeah.
Writing a new Dragon Tail for himself.
He doesn't have to go Blade of the Ruin King if he gets his Randuins this early, because he can use that for the slow. Since Wiz is going to be trying to harass him down, he's already applying it to himself, and then able to use the active there after the dash cleanse. Comes out with a kill on full tank Shyvana. And a red buff just to top everything off here. Nintendo, though, has Smite available.
Nope.
Yeah. All right, anyway, we were talking about Dexter, right? And his Elise.
Absolutely.
Down bottom, both of the bottom lanes got kills at the same time, and they were both playing really well. But Dexter returned for a second gank down there.
Right.
And he just made sure that the CLG famed duo got the lead that they needed. Returning down there with Elise, making sure that they got the upper hand. And also, make the play mid that you talked about there as well. So CLG, they are looking much better this time around. Everybody really stepping up. Here it comes, the Afro Link synergy.
Ruh-roh! Thresh Express in, Afromu cannot help deliver the charm. Daydream and eats it up, but
whoopsies.
He's already charming himself. He gets out of that one alive. Doublelift coming into this next fight, if you look in his inventory, purchased himself an Infinity Edge and a Last Whisper. He went to that fountain with coupons on hand, so got himself 2 big items. He's going to be huge in these next fights, already providing the on-the-hunt speed and utility to the team that's gotten them 16-10 and a 12,000 gold lead in this game.
Yeah, they got full vision. They're looking to bait here. This is lining people from coast up for these skill shots. Does not land though. Zion able to juke. That's a good win for Coast. Ooh. They're able to chase CLG away from Baron here.
Oh, there's 2 good hits on to Doublelift. He's going to be able to heal himself up. Still building that straight flat damage for himself.
And Nintendo has gone mostly damage as well. He's got some magic resist in there, but he's looking to make an impact when he goes in. He wants to assassinate the back line. He's really hoping there. I mean, Coast, they got to put a lot of effort into 100%ing somebody. With Daydreamin's initiation, if they can collapse with damage behind an AoE stun and take out one of these fed damage dealers from CLG, that is pretty much their only hope here. They want to be able to burst somebody and then try and fight out the rest of the team fight as a 4 versus 5. Because as a 5 versus 5, and even as a 5 versus 4, if they go into a place with no vision here, they're definitely going to be on the back foot. Link looking for the pick.
Shifter with the fancy feet, dodging it out. But look at this. Now Coast is spread. This is a bit chaotic here. They're trying to go for Link. Oh, Nintendo didn't make the jump over the wall. They're not going to be able to engage fully. Zion Spartan's left out on the wing of the fight, and he goes down very fast. Nien is facing Nintendo, but I don't know it's going to be enough damage. They're all forced to run away from the fight. Now looking to re-engage in the pocket, but CLG disengages themselves.
They still have
a yo-yo fight.
But they still have Tibbers, but he's so low, it'd be dangerous to go for it.
The repel goes in, and Nintendo's left looking for a kill. Nien now getting hit up with Tibbers. Doublelift takes the last auto attack and hit coming in as well from Shifter. The fight is everywhere, but they get it back what they want. This is going to be another kill for Shifter coming in. Daydreamin gets the attack from the flame. He gets it before he goes down for his own retribution kill. But it's only the mids left standing. No, Dexter's up, but he's blinking and almost dead.
That's a pretty good job there for Coast, actually making the best out of that. Coming back. If they can continue just to battle, have these even team fights, then it's great for them. It's a good repel. Look at the reaction speed there from Dexter, though. It ends up costing Nintendo his life, but as we said, the Tibbers was still up, and Daydreamin comes in to secure another kill. Daydreamin now making a real bold play going after Afro.
Yeah.
And then, he lands a stun, but Afro gets out the auto.
Huzzah!
Slaps him in the head.
It's a lot of damage from that Thresh, especially once he starts getting those souls.
And 10 dude trying to get vision back. going to have to make use of that. Wow, was that a pretty short hop there? I guess he evolved his Q second.
I think he stubbed his toe on the last one.
No, it was a regular. It's a regular evolved wings. Those are big wings that he's got there. All right, so this is the classic ulti evolve and then wings evolve for the bigger jumps and resets.
I'm sure he'd be happy to hear you say that. 19-13 as we're coming up on 30 minutes in the game. A 12,000 gold lead just about. We could say 11 as Coast creeps up on that 43,000 mark. 7-2 in turrets, though, means that vision is just crushed right now for Coast. They have to provide it for themselves.
And it's impressive that they've actually been able to repeatedly secure more vision around Baron.
Yeah.
Being this far behind, Coast are actually doing a pretty good job stalling it and coming out with these even team fights where they just trade few kills. That's actually going pretty well in their favor. They've also picked up ye old scrying orb. So when they do lose vision around Baron, they'll be able to use that once. Now, it's not upgraded, so the cooldown's extremely long, but they've got that one desperate answer.
Oh, dear.
For when Baron does go dark.
Even the crowd was ready for the fight on that one. It was very close. Everybody backs off. A lot of summoners are up. Mainly, all of the flashes are up for Coast.
Cooldown still ticking there
flash
from
is
changing
up
out
for
the
CLG.
scrying orb. This is going to be a face check here from Coast. Dangerous, but looks like they are committing.
Death sentence goes down. On the Haunt is activated. We're watching Zion Spartan. Goes down immediately. Great damage coming in from the Mega Inferno Bomb. The end trying to shred.
Back?
Dexter now onto Wiz Fusion, but Nintendo to the back line. Goes down himself. No, he's still going for damage. Dexter gets hit up by the satchel. The pickup from Shifter. Nien now has to get himself out of the fight. And Coast starts to really put themselves back in this one. Not a lot of damage came from Double Lift here. The live for Nintendo, and Double Lift was left running the whole time.
So it may not seem like much, but my goodness, Shifter damaged the entire CLG team when they have that debuff from Baron on them. The ulti did so much. CLG were not communicating between their tank and the rest of their damage. Nien goes super deep.
Yeah.
Even though Zion's already dead, everybody on the back line of CLG gets chunked so hard from Shifter that Coast opened up the opportunity to actually win the team fight, and Nintendo gets into the back line when everybody's a little bit low from all the AoE, coming out with several kills. Now it's Coast going for the answer Baron, but CLG are up. This is a bad, dangerous situation. Can Double Lift stall long enough for the team?
Double Lift's got a quarter on his trinket, so he doesn't have any vision here, but the rest of the team over the wall, it is going to be Aframu with the vision. Coast not having enough time to get Baron, but it's what they needed to try.
You have to be patient. When you get these comebacks, you have to be very patient with them. You don't want to rush anything. They just got a great window back into this team, back into this game, and they don't want to give it up by trying to rush down Baron. Oftentimes, when you make a comeback move like that, you get so excited that you go for way too much. They need to be calm and just take the small incremental little wins for themselves and build those up, because they're still trying to dig themselves out of this 10K gold deficit. They cannot overextend.
They have the chance. Shifter is level 17. Nien is 16. Link is 15. He is far ahead of everybody else in this game, and he's providing the damage necessary to keep it going.
And Shifter is heading towards a Lich Bane on his Ziggs for just massive amounts of damage. He's going pure damage on this Ziggs. So we have to watch Shifter's positioning in the next up team fights, because so much of their damage is in that Ziggs. He's really going to have to be carrying with all the damage dealt to champions.
Lich Bane on top of his passive is quite crazy, especially once they start getting to the structures, Kobe. If they win the fights with Shifter still up, these turrets are going to fall very fast. We don't see the Triforce on Wiz. He'll still be helping, obviously. Yeah,
CLG, meanwhile, are going to need to get one of those picks that they've really built up for. They could also take advantage of On the Hunt. If they see anybody from Coast out of position, CLG can easily group up here and chase somebody down. So we'll have to see if they actually make this call to join up with the rest of the team. They're giving Coast time to farm up here. Any
yeah, they are.
Any few seconds that they can farm these minion waves is great for Team Coast. Very happy about this.
Well, Kobe, coming up on 35 minutes, we had a very fast first game of the day. Coast here definitely holding out very strong against Counterlogic Gaming. The vote in CLG's favor as we came into the game from LOLesports.com. But right now, Coast is really just using what they've learned over this season what they've been able to do and now come out on top almost of this game.
Now, they are pretty far down this mid lane here. So as we said, CLG have a great chase potential. If they can get some good poke, some good little bit of picks that result in harassment, then Coast are definitely vulnerable to being hunted down. We also need to look at Nintendo's build because, as I said, he's continued to go with this damage. He knows he's going to have to kill Nien at some point, so he's trying to get his last Whisper now so that he'll actually be able to kill the front line. It took so long in that last team fight that he's really needing another answer for Nien before getting any sort of tanky items.
A Banshee's Veil for Aframu as well. Once they start getting those out, a lot of that front end damage is going to be negated, and CLG will have a huge advantage in these fights. The 12,000 gold lead already helping quite a bit. Link really hasn't been able to catch anybody out with Dexter. That laning phase was huge for them, but they aren't putting it together too much out of the lane.
Yeah, CLG, like we said, we have to keep on reiterating this point. They need the vision, they need to get a pick because Coast have a massively strong Zig. They can clear waves for days with Shifter here.
Well, it looks like CLG knows that they're kind of in between a rock and a hard place right now. And with Coast on the foot to grab back the advantage and lead in this game, it's going to be quite scary. They start to grab a little bit of Baron control, which means that CLG is going to have to do the Baron Boogie, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, that immediately forces Nien to come back up here. When they're blind at Baron, CLG, even though they have this massive gold lead, have to worry!
Oh, they go into Link. Wait a minute! Oh my god, Coast comes up with a huge play. They're the ones that are going for the picks, but can they make it work even further?
Repel burned right here. They won't be able to jump back in again. Oh my god, the dangerous Baron here from Coast. They can burn it down very quickly, but 4 members of CLG want to contest this.
Talisman of Ascension along with On the Hunt can be used to engage
Intended
or disengage. Huge damage to Daydreamin'. There's the Dragon's Descent. Zion Spartan's in, but him and Nien are both the same HP and they want out of the fight. Double Lift gets hit up by Wiz, but they're looking at almost the same health. Dexter goes in, gets the flash out of Wiz Fusion. A huge boomerang going through the team.
Shifter flashes
picks up the back line. Shifter going for the aggressive flash into the fight, and Nintendo's gonna stay alive here with everybody else in the team. It's Afro. Few more shots. The boomerang misses. The triple for Shifter. The satchel to try to save his teammate. The quadra kill coming in for Shifter 6, and they take control of the game at Baron.
Shifter says he's going to take matters into his own hands this team fight as well. All right, so the beginning here, Nintendo pops his ulti. This is first charge. He wants to go in. The 2 tanks pass each other, and then they decide to reverse as well. Zion gets out. So does Nien, but CLG now reinitiate with Dexter going for the aggressive play. They take down, the boomerang blade. Yes, it does kill the tank. So they come around, and actually Nien and Aframu off to the side, so it turns into sort of a 2 versus 4 with Shifter jumping into the front lines, trying to be the AD and AP carry here, making the most of his auto attacks empowered by Lichbane. And man, that last stun on the double lift enables Shifter to get the last important kill for the team. Definitely deserves that quadra. Once again, Shifter coming up huge for the team. Well played by Coast, and they are on the warpath here, coming back very strong.
Very strong indeed. That 10,000 gold lead for CLG is not telling us much anymore. Turrets on the map stand and hold a lot of gold for Coast to be knocking down quite soon. I don't know how easy it's going to be, though, Kobe. When they get to these turrets, you got an Ahri and a Sivir to just stop that siege all day.
Yeah. We talked about how great this Ziggs wave clear is.
Yeah.
But double lift at this point is just as good.
Where are they going to be going with this? Just clearing out wards for now. Both teams kind of taking a break, relaxing, and getting their breath after that last engagement. 23-22 as Coast is now even up the kills in the game. Probably going to get some more for themselves as well, as this has been a bloodbath so far. More kills than minutes in the game.
And even with the giant, it's still 10k gold here. You can tell the swing in momentum because the vision is all now for Coast around Baron.
Yep.
And as we saw in the last team fight, they are definitely capable of making those picks themselves, catching Link off guard, and that's Ahri. So if there was one split second where he was able to get out of that stun, then he would have been able to jump away. But Coast jump on every little opportunity, not hesitating to throw every little bit of damage that they have for that window back into the game that they need to just jump through with everybody.
Everybody on the cooldowns waiting to come up. Mikhail's Crucible just a few seconds off for Daydreamin'. They start to trade back a little bit more damage, giving each other a taste of their own medicine, but nobody with the window for a full engage just yet, and they know this next fight on either side with level 16s and 17s is very long timers and an entry into somebody's base.
And the Banshee's Veils on the back line here for CLG are very important. They don't want to get stunned up everybody by Daydreamin'.
That's big. A little bit of a catch on the Zion's
Good
part.
poke.
Dexter.
Oh my god!
Nintendo right in the beginning, but he's able to use the ultimate the first time. The second time, he almost goes the wrong way. They're on to Daydreamin' now, looking to keep himself safe. A great Mega Inferno Bomb. Nien and Aframu drop immediately. Shifter is down though. The huge front end burst and continuous damage coming out of him. And it looks like they are chased into their base. Double lift, Link, Dexter still alive, and they're going to be going hard on the inhibitor turret.
Well, CLG live and die by the skill shots. When the skill shots land, it goes completely in their favor. They're only able to trade 2 for 2 though.
Minions.
They have map control. Will they actually go for this Baron though? It's still very dangerous because Kha'Zix has the potential to steal away from Elise, one of the only junglers who can do that. And vision for Coast right now, they know that CLG are going for this Baron. So now we have to see if Nintendo can come up with a hero play. He does not have his ult to rely on. He'll just have to use his flash, use his jump, try and go for the comboed execute plus smite steal.
Time. Very good push off. The charm is grabbed. A second Baron going over to CLG. They can use this one to get farther ahead in the game.
All right, so there's the pick from Afro. It means that Nintendo has to play so safe. And they use On the Hunt to chase down the 3 remaining members of Coast here. Even though Shifter does get off some good AoE, they know they got to kill him quickly because with the Lich Bane, he's a great source of sustained damage for Coast. Good job by CLG there, running down Coast after they catch somebody out. As we said, whenever they're far up on the map in this mid lane, they've always got the potential to be chased down by CLG.
We talked a little bit about that. Kind of high risk, high reward. Well, it's not high risk, high reward, but if you do fall behind with Kha'Zix, jumping in or being on the front line kind of means your death sentence.
You got to watch out for those hooks. I mean, there was a minion wave right there to dodge in and out of that you got to use to your advantage. You can't afford, as a Kha'Zix, you cannot afford to take any early damage like that. Now, a lot of junglers, especially older junglers, are used to playing tanks because that's what we all used to play in Season 2 and 3 when junglers did not get as much money. It's a very different mindset to switch to this new season where pretty much all junglers are damage heavy and you don't want to be taking any little bits of harass. Where before you're trying to soak up damage, now you're trying to assassinate people and you cannot afford to be caught out at all. Now, speaking of catching people out, Coast back on the defensive here for the duration of this Baron buff. They've got pretty decent vision, so they're looking for those bush camps. The ambushes.
They had to stretch for it a little bit last time. Daydreamin' went for the flash onto Link, got the Tibbers, but they do not have that engagement right now. So they're gonna have to be waiting on the back foot until it comes up.
And we also do have to point out that Wiz Fusion has gone full offensive items for Lucian. So he has no room to mess up either. I mean, one little mistake from him and that's all their damage. A lot of their backline damage going to be gone too. So he's really counting on Shifter drawing a lot of attention to him so that Lucian can get off all of his auto attack damage. They're playing a dangerous game, but man, they really have to because they're working with such a huge gold deficit.
Dangerous game indeed. CLG 4 Banshee's Veils with Leon pretty much creating his right now in the inventory. The CS going through the roof on both sides, almost 400. For Shifter right now at 395 as we get a little bit of breathing room on the bottom inhibitor turret from the Culling of Wiz
for
Fusion.
Kha'Zix. That's actually very big.
Daydreamin' getting hit up. It's like backed off of this fight.
They should probably just take that turret and get a little bit more. They really want to. Oh, they did it a little late, but better late than never, and they get it.
Job by Double Lift, keeping persistent on the damage for the turret. Looks like they're going to do what they can to get damage on the inhibitor with the split push in the top lane. Coast cannot really answer to this.
Daydreamin' has this flash. He really wants to go for it too. They're just losing inhibitor after inhibitor.
Nintendo, oh, he goes down.
Uh-oh.
Dexter gets his spiders over there with that volatile as well as putting on the frenzy, and it looks like they are continuing the fight. A few more shots, the Foxfire and the last hits onto Wiz Fusion from Link equal the kill. It's going to be Zion Spartan. One last hit, but it comes from Double Lift's Ricochet. And it looks like they're going to be able to do what they need to take the game here. 57 plus seconds on these death timers, and Nexus turrets looking to fall.
Hard fought game here. Extremely exciting. Well played, guys. Very exciting game. CLG, though, they are working on Nexus turrets. Probably going to finish it off right now.
Coming up on 45 minutes in the game. A great initial hold coming out from Coast on a very strong early game from Counter Logic Gaming, but they do find their way to the light at the end of the tunnel, and they grab another win.
Yeah. Well played. Fun to watch that one.
That was a great game. How many overall kills?
Exciting.
24 to 28. 52 kills in a 45-minute game.
You know, Coast were making all of those moves at a 10,000+ gold deficit.
Yep.
So they were making a lot of really chancy moves.
Nien can't even take his hand off his forehead. Wondering how, why, what, where, or when, who.
Yeah, I mean, CLG felt like they should have been able to finish it out earlier, and it wasn't. It was well played, but it wasn't the cleanest of games, and they ended up taking it out in the end. So they're definitely relieved that they were able to finish this one.
It's always interesting to watch CLG walk across the stage after a victory because they're always somebody's discussing the game with somebody else always.
Yeah.
Usually you get the team filing in the line, but it's like Aframu or Link, or this time it was Double Lift and Link because they were just standing next to each other and they were graphing out those last fights and how cool it was. They were able to come up with a win. And cool indeed. CLG